Most people are using caffeine completely wrong, and that is exactly why they feel tired, anxious, and dependent on it just to function. Caffeine is not just a morning ritual, it is not just a pick me up. Used correctly, and it can be one of the most powerful focus tools you have. Used badly, it becomes a productivity destroyer. It wrecks your sleep, builds tolerance, and leaves you wondering why your third cup does not hit like it used to. So let's fix that. First, you need to understand what caffeine actually does. Caffeine does not give you energy. Read that again. It does not give you energy. What it really does is block adenosine receptors in your brain. Adenosine is the chemical that builds up during the day and makes you feel sleepy. So when caffeine blocks adenosine, you do not suddenly gain energy. You just stop feeling as tired. It removes the brake pedal. And that is not the same thing as creating energy. But caffeine does something else too. It also increases dopamine and adrenaline. That is why you feel sharper, more alert, more motivated. And this is where most people mess it up. They drink caffeine all day, morning coffee, then another one, then pre-workout, then maybe an energy drink in the afternoon. And then they wonder why they need more and more just to feel normal. That is tolerance. And the science here is brutally clear. According to Dr. Andrew Huberman, caffeine has a half-life of around 5 to 6 hours. That means if you drink coffee at 2 p.m., half of that caffeine is still in your system at 8 p.m., and about a quarter of it can still be there around 2 a.m. So if your sleep is bad, but you swear caffeine does not affect you, it probably does. You are just used to being under-recovered. Now, here is the first big fix. Stop drinking caffeine the moment you wake up. I know that sounds insane, but it works. When you first wake up, your body naturally produces cortisol. Cortisol gets a bad reputation, but in the morning, it is actually useful. It helps wake you up. It is part of your natural alertness system. So when you slam caffeine right away, you are stepping on the gas while your body is already accelerating on its own. And over time, that can blunt the natural waking response and build tolerance faster. The better strategy: wait about 90 to 120 minutes after waking before your first cup. Let your body wake itself up first. Then use caffeine when your natural alertness starts to dip. Now let's talk dose, because more is not better. The sweet spot for cognitive performance is around 1 to 3 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. For most people, that lands somewhere between 100 and 200 milligrams, roughly one strong coffee or 2 shots of espresso. That is enough for better focus, better alertness, and better output. But once you start pushing past 400 milligrams per day, the side effects climb fast. More jitters, more anxiety, more sleep disruption, and usually not much more performance. A lot of people think caffeine stopped working, when really, they are just overdosing and undersleeping. Now, timing matters even more than dose. Caffeine usually peaks in your bloodstream around 30 to 45 minutes after you consume it, so use that on purpose. If you need a deep work block in the morning, take caffeine about 30 to 45 minutes before it starts. If you want it for training, same idea. Take it 30 to 45 minutes before your workout. And if you want to protect your sleep, cut caffeine off early. A very safe rule is this: no caffeine within 10 hours of bedtime. That might sound extreme, but Matthew Walker's sleep research shows even afternoon caffeine can reduce deep sleep, even when you think you slept fine. That is the scary part. A lot of sleep damage is invisible. You still fall asleep, but the quality gets worse. And then the next day, you need even more caffeine. That is the trap. Now let's talk tolerance, because this is where most daily users get stuck. Your brain adapts to repeated caffeine intake. When you use it every day, adenosine receptors can upregulate. In simple terms, your brain becomes less sensitive. So now you need more caffeine to get the same effect. The fix? Take a break. A full caffeine reset for 5 to 7 days every 6 to 8 weeks. Yes, the first 2 or 3 days can be rough. Headaches, low motivation, feeling like a zombie. That part is real. But when you come back, that first cup hits completely differently. If you do not want a full reset. Now here is one of the best hacks in this whole video. Pair caffeine with L-theanine. L-theanine is an amino acid found naturally in tea, and when you combine it with caffeine, the effect feels smoother, cleaner, less jittery, less anxious, more focused. A common ratio is 100 milligrams of caffeine with 200 milligrams of L-theanine. That combination has been shown to improve attention and reduce mind wandering better than caffeine alone. And here is another trick that sounds ridiculous, but works incredibly well. The caffeine nap. Drink a coffee, then immediately take a 20-minute nap. Seriously, by the time you wake up, the caffeine is starting to kick in, and the nap helps clear some of the adenosine buildup. The result can feel amazing. Sharper mood, better focus, less afternoon fog. It is one of the best tools for that midday crash. And while we are here, hydrate. Caffeine is a mild diuretic. You lose more water, and dehydration destroys focus fast. A lot of caffeine crashes are not just caffeine crashes. They are dehydration plus blood sugar dips, plus poor sleep. Simple rule. For every cup of coffee, drink water too. Now the last point, and this one matters the most. Caffeine is a tool. It is not a solution. If you are exhausted all the time, more caffeine will not fix that. It will just hide the problem, and usually make it worse later. If you need caffeine just to feel normal, if multiple cups do nothing anymore, if you feel anxious all the time, if your sleep is getting worse, those are signs you may need a break. Fix your sleep, fix stress, fix recovery. And one final thing. Track your own response. Not everybody metabolizes caffeine the same way. Some people are fast metabolizers, some are slow. So track your dose, track your timing, and track how you feel. After a couple of weeks, patterns show up. And once you know your pattern, caffeine becomes much more useful. So here is the bottom line. Delay your first cup. Dose it properly. Cut it off early. Cycle it before tolerance gets out of control. Pair it with L-theanine if you want smoother focus. Protect your sleep at all costs. Do that, and caffeine stops being a crutch. Your focus gets sharper, your energy gets more stable, and that first cup finally starts hitting again. If this video changed how you think about caffeine, drop a comment below. And if you want more science-based breakdowns like this, subscribe.